why don't you come on forward? Let me have you raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And we'll have you take a seat. And for the record, if you just state your full name.
My name is Bernard Edward Meyer.
Or anything that you, any other documents or anything in writing that you wanted to file with the court at this time?
I have a few documents I wanted to give you. Yes.
Okay, do you have copies of them?
Yes.
Okay. Let me take that and then give them to the clerk and we'll maybe mark those and we'll give copies to Mr. Bennett. In the meantime, Mr. Meyer, my understanding is the purpose of your testimony for now, because of the stipulation, is the reason you chose to do what you did that day that resulted in you being cited.
That's right, and I'm a little trying to transition from what I heard you say to an earlier hearing that I wasn't at.
Okay.
That you would allow people to speak their mind, what was on their mind. That sounds different from giving the reason I testified.
It can be, and that may have been expressions that have been used. Speaking mind is much broader than what a court would, in this circumstances, would allow. It would allow you to speak your mind to the extent that you want to explain why you did what you did that resulted in you getting cited and some other people who were there for the event not cited.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
So go ahead if you wish.
Yes, I, not knowing exactly what to expect today, I prepare a lot of stuff. I started this anti-nuclear effort in 1974 when I lived in Colorado with the Rocky Flats Action Group. That's where they made the nuclear trigger for the nuclear bomb. And I got educated about nuclear issues at that time. That base has since been closed because of the accidents and the radiation that have given people cancer and animals with defects and all that. So it's a very sensitizing experience from 74 to 78. Backing up a bit, I was ordained a Catholic priest in 1965. That's the very end of the Vatican Council, which made a very strong statement opposing nuclear weapons, which set my antenna up on that issue. So I've been working on this really since 1974. And my background, when I moved to Washington State in 78, continued that. Although I could go into some detail. Basically, I wanted to make a citizen's intervention. Interventions, as I understand them, are based on breaking through denial to change activity. I've had to use citizen intervention or personal interventions with my family on alcoholism. Try to break through the denial that a person is alcoholic. You perform many loving acts and explain the consequences. And transferring that idea to nuclear weapons, doing a nuclear intervention, I'm trying to stay what moves this government to create these weapons, how to break through the denial of the government itself, of the military, and of the citizens, to break through the numbing. I've studied what it means to be numb by fear. Robert J. Lipton's 50 Years of Denial of Hiroshima is an excellent book on that subject. So I've been working on this over all these years. In our first presentation before this court, Judge Johns reclused himself, but I had a conversation with him in the courtroom, and in that conversation I asked him, what binds the court, what binds you as a judge to guide you? And he said the Constitution of the state of Washington and the U.S. Constitution. I looked that up. In the preamble of the state constitution says, "We the people of the state of Washington, grateful to the supreme ruler of the universe for our liberties, to ordain this Constitution. And in Section 1 it says, all political power is inherent in the people. The governments derive their just powers from the consent of the government and are established to protect and maintain individual rights. The Constitution of the United States is the supreme law of the land.
Your Honor, at this point, I have to object. I think this is getting beyond the scope of why he entered into the roadway.
No, I would sustain the objection. And Mr. Meyer, anything further in reference to why you chose to do what you did that resulted in you being cited?
There's a lot, but I'll try to trim it down, so to speak. So I was making a citizen's intervention to say, stop. And the documents I gave you are related to that, the urgency of the Santa Barbara, February of 2011.
Let me stop you for a moment, because are you referring to the
Those three
information?
documents, yes.
Okay, but you certainly have the right to file that. I, at this time, based on my ruling of yesterday and today, that I would not have you kind of summarize what may be in it. It's in the file, but based on my ruling, I wouldn't have you kind of reiterate what may be in here. So.
Okay. But the urgency that they expressed, I bring within me, and I'll leave that at that. Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, there's so much more. I maybe should work toward a conclusion with my final quote. I portray Gandhi. I've been doing that for a number of years. And I've taken a number of actions in India, portraying Gandhi in India, including talking to their assembly on nuclear weapons and peace about this. In addition to walking from Faslane, Scotland to London, England in 2007, over 700 miles, toward a nuclear-free world. So I've been taking these actions, and Gandhi is a guide to me, among many others. And Gandhi said to Margaret Burke White, a Life magazine journalist, the day before he was assassinated in 1948, he said, "Nonviolence is the only thing the atom bomb cannot destroy." I did not move a muscle when I first heard that an atom bomb had wiped out Hiroshima. On the contrary, I said to myself, unless the world adopts nonviolence, it will spell certain suicide for mankind. That's the end of the quote. And I think that says so much. That's the way I feel and the urgency that others have expressed here already. So the last rhetorical question is, what is it going to take to get the United States to live by the law and lead the world? Unfortunately, I could not present here the track record, the present track record, the present direction, the present policy that the United States has taken, which is contrary to what we're trying to say. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. And I did intend to block the road. I stand on that. And to me, the higher law obviates this little traffic. I had a very good traffic record by
Any questions?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Meyer. Next,